Welcome to Raising Deaf Kids. As a parent of a child with hearing loss, it can be challenging to know how to encourage and direct your child's language development. However, you know it's important to start to strengthen those language skills early and as soon as possible. So today I'm going to give you 3 of my favorite play-based activities that I use to help my kids practice more language. Let's get started. Hey, Mama. Welcome to Raising Deaf Kids. Do you want more ease in your daily life? Do you want to help your child learn language faster but have no idea where to start? Do you find yourself searching for how to learn sign language and best ways to practice speech goals? Hey, I'm Alaine. I'm a mom of 3 littles, 2 of whom are deaf. I remember when I received the hearing loss diagnosis for our child, there were so many decisions and information overload. I lacked clarity and confidence and yearned for ease and balance in our lives. It was then that I discovered strategies to support our kids' language development at home, and I even helped them learn language faster. I can't wait to share it all with you. So put down that to-do list, close out that ASL app for now, and let's get started. Did you know that I have a free community of women just like you? Busy moms who want to help their kids learn language faster while still getting all of the things done in the house each day. In the community, we share strategies to help our kids learn language faster and lean on each other for encouragement and support in this up and down journey of hearing loss with your kids. If you haven't found your community yet, then welcome home, Mama. Come join us at facebook.com/group/raisingdeafkids. Here's a little fun fact for you. Did you know that exposure to different language activities at an early age can stimulate brain development in your child and lay a super strong foundation for future learning? I always think it's so cool that while we're just playing with our kids and just playing with our babies and just having fun with them, we can also play a role in helping their brains and language develop as fully as possible. I think that's so cool and so powerful as parents. However, I also know how challenging it can be to get those little ones to practice language skills. And I have had 2 kids with hearing loss. I've had 1 typically developing child. And, the speech therapy stories I could tell you, especially about my second child, who is my more active child. My kids just would not sit still. Even in speech therapy, our speech therapist had to constantly change activities. They had to have a lot of activities planned for my kids because they had to constantly change them and change up new things for them. And they also had to create really active, activities for my kids that were really super play-based. Otherwise, my kids just would not do the language and would not respond to it. So I know what it's like to have active kids. I know what it's like to have kids who sometimes take a little bit longer to respond to speech therapy. And especially when you're trying to get them to practice those language skills at home, it's really important to do that in an active way that is more like playing for them. And, I want to help you do better with the language skills and really get your child practicing, but in a really fun way that just feels like, organically playing and bonding with your child. And then, hey, they're doing the language also. So in this podcast episode, we're going to go over my 3 favorite play-based activities that I use to help my kids learn more language. And I just want to let you know also, if you are trying to find a way to use play-based activities to help your child learn more language, then grab a coaching call with me. You can go to facebook.com. Nope, not Facebook. Sorry. It's in the show notes. I'm listening to my kids too. To grab a coaching call with me, you can go to raisingdeafkids.com/coaching. And this is in the show notes as well. You can grab that coaching call and we can go over and find different ways of getting your child to practice language in a play-based way. All right. So here are my 3 most favorite activities to practice language skills that are play-based with your child. Number 1, singing or doing rhymes, and bonus if they have hand motions with them. So you want to sing fun songs and fun rhymes with your child, especially like babies and like toddlers, young children. This works really well. So favorites in our house have been Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Open Shut Them, which has really fun hand motions, Wheels on the Bus, Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and Mama Duck. I don't know what it's called, Mama Duck went out to play over the hills and far away. Mama Duck said quack, 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 and one of her little babies came back. That's that song. Those have all been favorites, and those all have really good hand motions to go with them. So why does this work? The repetition of the songs and the rhymes helps babies and toddlers and young kids to learn the words quickly and even to start to sing them. And the hand gestures just kind of further enhance their understanding of the lyrics and the words and what's happening in the song. Also, the hand gestures and the motions make it even more fun and more engaging and more interactive for your little one. And, all of my kids have loved these. And, you can even practice these songs like when you're in the grocery store line, when you're, out and about, when you're in the car, you can sing these, and it just helps build the vocabulary and, those language skills through singing and rhyme. All right. So my next favorite play-based activity for my children to practice language was reading books or using books. So you can read a book to your child. Reading is so great. Or you can explain the pictures. So reading obviously promotes literacy in your child. It helps your child develop the ability to sit for longer periods of time, which is good to build that up in children. It also helps your child develop a love of learning and getting more information. It also gives you a lot of great ways to practice language that is interactive for your child. And, I said reading/using books in this. So I have 2 kids who read books pretty well. I have 1 kid, my middle one, who's still like age 5, almost 6, will not really sit and read books, but he loves it when I go through and I talk about the pictures and I explain the pictures. So even if your child won't sit while you read all of the words yet, you can use the books and use the pictures in the books to talk about all different types of things. So you can use the pictures to highlight different actions. You can talk about the pictures with your child, describe the pictures to your child. What are people doing in them? What are they wearing? What colors are in there? How many things are in there? And you can also ask your kids questions about the pictures as they learn more language and get more advanced in language. You can also ask them to act out the story, or you can act out the story with them to make it kind of even more interactive and using their whole body. I love reading because you can, to use a teacher word, scaffold the reading, or, you can go more in depth as your child knows more language and fit like the different age levels and the different language levels by asking them more in-depth questions, asking them questions where your child has to fill in the answers or imagine the answers. So books and using the books will, you can practice those language skills using those books like for your child's whole life, basically. And we do this at night with our kids. So we sit and read books at night, before bed. It's part of our bedtime routine. And so we know that, they're calmed down, they're ready to listen. And it's a good, calm down activity before going to bed. All right. And my third favorite play-based activity of me and my kids is imaginative play. We love doing imaginative play in our house. So, what is this? Anything where you're playing pretend, basically, playing using a pretend telephone and calling each other, using a play pretend kitchen, or, play pretend food, set up a pretend picnic. You can use dress up items, you can use dolls, anything that is pretend play. And so this is really great because it helps them learn a lot of skills in pretend play. So it helps your kids develop their imagination, which is an early learning skill. It also helps your child develop social skills and situational skills. So you can, walk through like, how do you talk to someone on the telephone? What is the process? Who says what? Play kitchen. How do you cook? Like, what's the process to like getting the food and cooking? If you're doing a picnic, what is the process to like setting up a picnic, picking the food, eating, all of these things are situational skills that help children also understand how to maneuver about life. And they learn that through play. And then while you're doing all that, you're also developing your language skills. So that's like 4 or 5 skills that you're learning in a simple, like, play pretend telephone game. So like I said, go through the steps of something, pretend play the steps of something. And then, practice the language that you need for that thing. So practice the language for the telephone. Hello, how are you? Taking turns is a skill on that. And then, like I said, this is also great for older kids too, because you can make the language more in depth for older kids who are playing pretend, and you can ask them questions. Like if you're playing pretend doctor, that's a favorite of my kids right now, is play pretend doctor, play pretend dentist. You ask them like, what comes next? Do you open your mouth? Do you have a shot? Is the person sick? You can ask your kids questions and more in-depth questions, and to get them to think and imagine more as they get older and they have more language skills. So honestly, I saved pretend play for the last, but I think pretend play or imaginative play is probably our number one favorite play-based activity for my kids. And it has been for basically since they were like 1 year old, and they still do. And we've been doing it for so long that, I'm just so amazed at how imaginative my kids now are on their own. So it really builds those imagination skills as well in your child. So using play-based activities for language learning is great because it gets your kids interested in what you're doing and also puts the language into the right context for your kids. So not only are you practicing the words for the language, but you're showing your kids also examples of what the words mean and how to use the words in different situations. And play-based activities is the only way, honestly, that I have pretty much ever done language activities with my kids, and I still do it today with them. Even with my 3-year-old, she's 3 now, and she is the one who has typical hearing, play-based activities all the way. And I have just seen her language soar from the time she was like 18 months, just from, incorporating those language skills every day for her in the regular activities that we were doing together. And really, playing is how a child's brain already works to learn skills, learn language. They do all of this naturally through playing anyway. So why not utilize your child's natural learning state, natural learning environment to get those language skills in? And it's super fun. And you just feel like you're playing with your kids, and you will be amazed that if you do this consistently every day and use those play-based activities, how quickly your child's language skills will develop. So I hope this episode gave you some great activities to start working with. And remember, if you need help finding the right play-based activity to practice language skills with your child, then grab a coaching call with me. And we can go over and start incorporating some of those play-based activities into your home. I have even more ideas than the 3 that I mentioned today. These are just my 3 favorites, but there are so many things that you could do. Make sure you go to raisingdeafkids.com/coaching to grab that coaching call. So I hope this episode today gave you some really great ideas to start practicing those language skills with your child. And I know those parents who want the absolute best for our kids, and unfortunately kids, and especially kids with hearing loss, do not come with a handbook. I want you to know that simply by being here and listening to this podcast episode today, you're doing a great job as a mom or a parent because you are learning and you're trying to find better ways to help your child. I am so proud of your efforts, and I'm so glad you're here. And I hope you have a great weekend. I will do the same, and I will see you next week. Bye. Hey, Mama. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and subscribe to this podcast? I never want you to miss an episode and to be without valuable information to help you and your family. Also, please leave a quick written review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It lights me up to know this podcast is helping you. Now go check off the rest of your to-dos so you can love on your family today. And I'll meet you here every Tuesday and Thursday for podcast episodes to support your whole family in language learning. Ciao, Mama!